Hello everyone and welcome to SCHOOLSINC. My name is Sharma and I will be presenting today's show. Now if you're anything like me, you're crazy about movies on TV. I just love movies with superheroes like Superman, Spider-Man and Batman. But my favourite superhero TV show has got to be the Amazing Extraordinary Friends series. Let's take a quick look at an extract from their trailer.
I've been having these weird dreams. In the dream I see a man. I can't see his face, he's nothing more than a shadow, but he's the one responsible for destroying City Central.
It is the future you see.
There's more. He kills you.
Charming. To save the city, you must find the Shadow Man.
Why does the insignia have to make everything so difficult? Why can't it just show me his face?
Because you're not ready to. Dark matter has the power to drain superpowers. So I intend to drain every drop of power from Captain Extraordinary and destroy him and his pathetic little friends.
Police report a dramatic increase in crime committed by teenagers.
Losers.
These adolescent wrongdoers all appear to have superpowers.
You haven't even begun to grow into your powers yet.
What's the matter? I'm the matter. The dark matter.
Cool, eh? Well, tonight we've got something totally special for you. SCHOOLSINC interviewed the force behind the series, the amazing producer Stephen Campbell from Greenstone Pictures. But that's enough from me. Let's cross to the SCHOOLSINC studio to find out more.
Good morning, my name is Daniel Tutupo and today I will be interviewing Mr. Campbell. Welcome. Mr. Campbell, what inspired you to do animation and writing?
When I was young, I used to watch lots of TV and my favourite shows. I really enjoyed my favourite shows, and then one day I just realised, I think when I was quite young, that it was all made up, it wasn't real, and that there were cameramen and directors and writers and producers that made it all. And I thought, well, that would be really an interesting thing to do. So I started just to read about that, and I think when I was probably about 13, I ended up borrowing a tiny little film camera and started making little animated films with toy robots, Star Wars robots. That's how I started.
Can you tell us exactly what your job involves?
Yeah, well, I'm a producer. So there's many roles and jobs, but I'm a producer. So what my main job is to come up with ideas for TV shows, and then to write the ideas down, and then take them to the television networks, TVNZ or TV3, and try to sell the idea to them and convince them that it would be a good show to make. And if they say yes, and then myself and my other producers start to look for the money to make it. And once we've got that, we just bring all the people together that we think would be good to work on the show. And as a producer, it's my job to make sure it all just happens, and the job is the show's made the best way we can make it. So that's really what I do. Also, what I do is I write as well. So I'm a writer, so I write the scripts, and sometimes I direct episodes. And once we've shot the stories, I make sure I go through the editing process of putting them together and making sure that the story's told the best way we can tell it. So it's like being a supervisor or a manager of the whole idea. That's what I do.
How did you, Mr. Campbell, come up with the idea of my amazing, extraordinary friends?
Well, you get lots of ideas. When I was a kid, there was one thing I wanted to do before I wanted to become a TV producer or a film producer. I always wanted to draw comic books. And I thought drawing comic books for a living would be really cool. I love superhero comics, like Batman and Superman were my favourite. And I just always liked that, and I always thought it would be really neat to make a show about superheroes. And I had put that idea in the back of my mind and just thought about it, and then one day had it all there for years, and then one day TVNZ had said, came to me and said, we'd like you to do a show for kids, what would you like to do? And I went, I always wanted to do a superhero show, and they said, well, actually we haven't got any superhero shows, so why don't we do that? And then that's how it happened, really. So I started to write up the idea.
What qualifications and training do you need for this job?
Gosh, well, it's a really good question. It depends on what you want to do. For me, because there's a lot of writing involved and a lot of I studied writing and trained as a writer. So English was really important for me at school. That was one of these subjects, or reading and literature and that sort of thing. So that's really important. On the other hand, when I was growing up, there wasn't any film schools in New Zealand, so there wasn't anywhere you could really go to formally get a qualification in film and television. Today there's lots of schools, so you can actually go to AET or university and you can do classes in it and a degree in it. Back when I was young, there wasn't anything like that. But TVNZ in those days had a special training scheme for producers and directors, and I tried to get on that for years and years and years, and then finally got onto it. And that took me 3 years, and I went to TVNZ, went down to Christchurch, South Island, and they taught me everything about how to make TV shows, from how to use the camera to sound to how to write the scripts.
What is exciting about your job?
I think one of the most exciting things about my job, the most exciting things about my job is telling stories for an audience, for you guys, and and when I tell a story that works, that people seem to like, that's really exciting, because that's why, I think that's why I do it, and why other producers do it, because we want to entertain and make people happy, or inform people about things. And so when I come here and meet you and my audience, that's the most exciting thing for me.
Have you received any recognition and awards for your work?
Yeah. For different shows, and which is kind of nice. It's nice when that happens, but that's not what you don't, because it's quite hard. It's very competitive. There's lots of people making shows and lots of people really making really good shows. So to get an award is quite special. For the Amazing Extraordinary Friends, though, we were really lucky last year. We were a finalist in 2 international award shows. One was in Rome, in Italy, and they flew me over. And I went over to this big festival they have in Rome with all these television shows from all around the world. And our little show was a finalist in this competition with some big American shows, big expensive American shows.